Hi, I wanted to share a dream that I had about 3 years ago, actually, almost 4 years ago. And I thought it was much more personal in nature, so that's why I wouldn't have thought to put it on and share it with anybody. I've shared it with family and friends, but I thought it was job related. But the way things are going now, and with it being so much talk and so many videos on how soon Christ is coming and tribulation and all those types of things, I was encouraged to actually share this. So what it was is I was in a very tall building and with my child and at my husband at the time. And we were being brought up by, say, a concierge, someone that was bringing us to our hotel room. It was like a hotel suite. It was a top penthouse type of place, very posh, very, very beautiful hotel. And we were looking around, and I kind of walked into one room ahead of her and the rest, and walked in, and I was looking around, and I started hearing this ping, ping, ping sound, and I looked up to this wall of windows that was from the floor to ceiling, and it was looking over a like Central Park area, a big lush, way at the top of the building, and there was gravel hitting the glass, and it was just coming and more, and then suddenly there was like boulders hitting the building, and this is the weirdest thing, metal bed frames from like 1940s, and just those tubular bed frames, and they were just flying through the sky, and they hitting the building, boulders and rocks and all these things, and it was like shocking. And I saw from across the Central Park area, way across the whole city, was this building, and it was glowing red, and from behind the building was like a spotlight. And from there, it was like there was catapulting these objects, and they were coming across the city and hitting this tall building. And it was shaking, and it was terrifying. And so my husband said, look, he wanted to run down to the street to find out where it was coming from, and I didn't want to do that. But I followed him. And our daughter was with us and ran down, and he kept wanting to go towards the direction of this red building that I had seen. And I just said, no, no. And there were rocks and big boulders coming down around us. Oh, I forgot to say that back to the penthouse, when I was standing in that room by myself initially, one of the boulders broke through the glass. Before that, nothing was coming through, but one broke through, and it was hovering like this right in front of my face. And it became like a fool's gold, kind of metallic in color, and it started shrinking and looked all wrinkled like a balloon that it was shrinking, and it just hovered there, and then all of a sudden it just dropped to the ground. And so it didn't harm me. It came close right to me, but it didn't harm me. So anyway, then we're down on the street. My daughter's dad wanted to run to the source of the red building, and I at this point had my daughter in my arms, and she was an infant. And I remember running, and I saw this look like a cable car, and it had windows along the top, and I ran to it for shelter, for cover, to get out from the rocks that were just hitting the street, and people were screaming and running. And I was in the cable car thing and looking up, and they were hitting the roof, but that's the end of it. I never saw my husband. We were protected, and I'm with my daughter, and to this day I am a single parent, and I'm with my daughter. So I haven't seen that man, since the dream. Kind of like that. So I came from Arizona after living there for 5 years, and it's been now 5 years, January 31st, this past, that I've been back to my home state, which is Washington State. And I even had a dream when I was down there, before I ever knew that I was coming back here, that it was an aerial view. I was flying overhead, looking down at a neighborhood, and I saw the street, and I saw the turns, I saw the type of house. I wasn't really happy with the type of house, but go figure. And I noticed the backyard was shared by another neighbor, and there was a child's play toy thing, like a big swing set thing in the back of their yard, and it wasn't in my yard, and it was there. and I could see evergreen trees. Now, mind you, I'm in Arizona, no plans on returning back to Washington. And I saw a body of water from the distance from this dream and I was having. And I thought it was so strange. Well, it turned out that I ended up coming back as a single parent with my daughter and moved to Washington, lived with my oldest daughter for a time, for several months. And then in my first place I moved to, it wasn't until after I moved there that that memory of that dream came to me. And it was down the street to the left. And the neighbor that was next to me, our units were joined. There were fourplexes, and our units were joined, and we shared a backyard. And they had a big trampoline in their backyard, and I was not too far from a very big lake in this area, and surrounded by evergreen trees. So God was showing me in Arizona that I would be brought back to Washington, and I did receive another. I hope I'm out of time. I received a prophecy just this past February, excuse me, of 2013, that there was more things in it, but the part that was amazing to me was that the prophet said to me that you have been brought back here. He didn't know where from, because he didn't know me. He said, you've been brought back here by the Lord, and you've been for preparation. And then he stopped and he kind of chuckled. And it was kind of funny. And he just kind of like a joyful, like, and he said, for the harvest that is about to be harvested. So that tells me right there that he has called me into ministry. That tells me right now that God knew back then that I was supposed to be back home. He was preparing me through a lot of hardship that I did have while here, but that was all preparation. And now he is releasing me into ministry. And then the dream of that red building and the things flying and hitting, it's just interesting how it could be some of the things they're talking about, some, bombs or whatever, stuff flying. I don't know. But I do know that God spared myself and my daughter. We were protected in a cable car. And the kind of funny thing is the car represents to me is movement, that God is moving me and positioning me, and to trust him. It's not going to be stuck at a tall building that's all posh and cool and executive, which I was in an executive position. Right now I'm not working. I'm waiting on the Lord for release to move forward where he wants me to go. So that's that. I do have a couple other dreams that I'm going to share in another video. And I don't know how much time I said I have on this, but I know that it's time to speak out. I don't know what to make of these other than I'm sharing them. And we are in that time now. The Lord is coming soon. So repent, seek his face, find out what he wants you to do in his kingdom in this time. There are many people that are going to need to know who Jesus is when catastrophe comes, when disaster comes. All those that have rejected you and me are going to run to us, and that's why we have to be with loving grace and mercy, receive them back, and be able to honor the name of the Lord by being there for them in that time of need, and not holding it against them because they don't know what they're saying, they don't know what they're doing. So God bless you guys, and I don't know. Take care. Till next time.